everyone. Welcome. Today is March 10th, 2026. I am Solid Blue Sister. And today we are going to talk about emotionally immature parents and adults. And I do put the distinction on both of them. I am purposely separating both of them because I think there is a I I I personally think that there is a difference. I want to talk about this topic because I've had conversations with friends in the past, a couple of years ago, recently, um, about parents who were always disconnected from them as children and how it's affected them now um, as an adult. Good morning, Ava. Um, so, and then I want to talk about emotionally immature adults because there are people, and I know people who are like this. And for me personally, again, I have a very low tolerance for emotionally draining people. I'm not talking about children. Your children, they can emotionally drain you, but I'm talking about adults who emotionally drain you. And I'm pretty sure that you have had friends um, who are just, they're just emotionally draining. Every time you're with them, something happens. They complain. They woe is me, and they're just emotionally draining. But first, I would like to talk about the emotionally immature parents, and those parents are the ones that psychologically destroy their children. You grow up hearing you're not good enough. Um, why can't you be like your sister? Why can't you be like your brother? Well, when your cousin was 16, he was doing this. You can never satisfy or appease them, no matter how much you try. And there are people that I know to this day who are in their 50s, 40s, still trying to appease their parents. And what I have said to them, and some people have, well, some people did not receive it well, and others, we sat down and we talked about it. I always said this, you're trying to buy their love. I have a friend who she has 2 doctorates, and every time I'm around her and her parents, they always have something negative to say. Well, why did you get it in this? Well, why didn't you study this? You'd be making more money if you did this. And this is a Black woman who has her bachelor's, her master's, and 2 doctorates. And you sit and you look at the faces of these people and how they emotionally check out. Why do people do that to their children? I mean, is it because they're trying to, find a better version of themselves? Ava, congrats on your masters. You know, getting a degree is getting a degree is a lot. I mean, just getting your bachelor's degree, it's a lot. It's dedication. It's that willingness to go that extra step. Some people do it because they want to. Some people do it, because they're pushed into it. But and I am going to say this. And I am going, people who decide to go on to get a higher education are not better than people who decide not to. But it is a journey. It is dedication. It's 4 more years or however long it is. If you're in medical school, it's 8 more years. It's a lot. But when you have parents who don't appreciate you, not only as their child, but as a person who is striving to better themselves, it's a problem. Even if you're that person who decides not to go the university route, and you've always been good with your hands, you've always been able to fix things, you've always been that person who, always, when you're 10, 11, you like to tinker with things, take things apart and put them back together. And you realize that you have the ability to rebuild an engine. You're good with cars. So you decide that, you're going to open up a auto repair, and you're damn good at it. People are coming to you from all over to have you work on their car. You open up this shop that is highly successful. Whether or not you open up chains or whatever, you open up another location here or there, is it's not it's not an issue. The fact that you are able to do this, but your parents do not appreciate you. So Dread is in the house.
Hello, Solid. When you
You know,
text me, I was in here walking around in my skippies. I had to put some clothes on. You know, halfway decent for the audience. Hello, everyone.
that is okay. That is okay. But I also want to talk about I'm gonna be going back and forth from the parents to the adults. You have people who are
Okay.
emotionally immature adults, and I've said it before that they're emotionally exhausting. And
Okay.
told people, I have literally told people, and I tell people this: I cannot deal with emotionally draining people. I can't. And again, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about children, because I know as a parent, or as a teacher, whatever when you're around children, they can be emotionally draining, whatever, but when you're an adult and you're that person that complains constantly,
Right.
like I said, the woe is me. You see people that, for me, there are certain people I never say, how are you? Because I know if I say, how are you, I'm going to get a whole long thing of, well, this happened to me today, and this, and oh no, my boss did this, whatever. And I don't think that people, and I have told people this, I have told people that they are emotionally draining, and they've gotten mad at me. Well, excuse me and whatever. But it's like, do you understand what you're doing to the person that you're constantly talking to? That you're putting them in a psychological state, in a mental state that they don't want to be in. So, Dred?
I don't think people understand just how overwhelming and overstimulating they can be. Like there are, and these are people who I love them to death. They're good people when they're not complaining, but there are people that when their number comes up, when they call my phone, when I see them message me, I'm just like, oh God, oh God, okay, because they're exhausting, and they I'm not saying that as a friend, Solid, you and I have had talks where I vented and then we move on. So where's the dog?
Well, there's a difference between venting because, you had a bad day, but there's a difference between someone who every single day you have to vent.
They're compulsive complainers.
Yes.
And I think that, okay, I've always felt like I don't want to be a burden to people. So I have a tendency to hold things in, which is also not healthy and is a sign of emotional immaturity. And that's
wait, but why are you holding things? Okay, but are you holding things in because you don't want to be a burden, or are you holding things in because you just don't want to talk to this person at this particular time?
No, I hold things in because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to, I don't want to unpack my issues onto other people. But as I said, that is a form of emotional immaturity. When you don't express yourself, when you hold things in, it's not healthy. But
okay, but not being healthy and emotionally immature, that's two different things to me.
Okay, that because I am emotionally mature enough to say, when I'm having a bad day, I can tell someone, hey, listen, today isn't a good day for me. I don't feel like talking right now. I've even told people, listen, I can't show up for you right now. I'm having trouble showing up for myself, and have been met with pushback, which in and itself is a problem. Because if someone is telling you, hey, listen, I'm having a problem showing up for myself today, how am I going to show up for you? That's like somebody asking you, hey, can I have $100? I only got 50. How am I going to give you 100 if I don't have 100? Does it make sense?
No, I mean, no, you're absolutely right. And the thing about it is, when you tell people that you can't show up for yourself, how can I show up for you? They get upset, like, how dare you still not be able to show up for me?
Yeah. But see, emotionally immature adults who become parents, they raise emotionally unavailable or immature people.
No, I mean, no, I think you have a point there. And I think that the emotionally immature parents do not realize it at the time, or maybe they don't care that all of a sudden these children who they, things were not good enough. Like I said before you came on, I was saying things. Well, at 16, your sister did this, or at 16, your brother was doing this. How come you aren't doing it? Or your cousin, is now a doctor, and you're still, trying to find yourself, whatever. And then all of a sudden, your parents are, 70, 80, 90, and they wonder why. Oh, how come Susan hasn't called in 10 years? How come she doesn't come to family reunions? And it's like all of a sudden it's like, well, what's her problem?
Well,
You're the
I'm
problem.
that's that goes into something in and of itself. The people who choose to go no contact to protect their emotions, to protect their mental health and mental stability. But I'm finding now that a lot of people are using the guise of healing or therapy to be toxic and to also not deal with their emotions. For instance, do you know what avoidant attachment is?
I've heard of it, but I'm not
Okay.
exactly.
You have fearful avoidance, you have dismissive avoidance, you have people who are anxiously attached, um, and people who are secure. Now, with dismissive avoidance, they love bomb you in the beginning. Boom, 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 boom. You're everything they want until you're not. They will ghost you. They will, they'll act like you never existed, and they give you emotional whiplash. Um Fearful avoidance, which I am myself. I've taken the tests. I'm in therapy for it. Fearful avoidance have a push pull, hot and cold thing. We will love you one day, and then the next day we don't want to talk to you because you've triggered our nervous system. That emotion is just too much, and now we're like this. We keep you at arm's length. Anxiously attached people, those are the people that have to call you, text you all day, every day. They have to know where you are. And if you are silent for too long, you aggravate their nervous system. They will double text. Now, when an anxious avoidant, when an anxiously attached person gets with a dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant, they drive us crazy. They start talking about future plans, we will clam up and get cold as ice because no, we can't show up that way. Someone who is secure is a balance. They don't need to talk to you every day. And those attachment styles happen in childhood. They happen in childhood, and they manifest in adulthood. So people don't even realize how emotionally immature they are when it comes to friends, coworkers, lovers. They don't know how to they really don't know how to navigate themselves. And we yell therapy, therapy, therapy. However, in order for someone to go to therapy, they have to understand that they have a problem. And sometimes these people don't even understand what they have a problem with. They don't even think that there's a problem. They think this is normal. They think anger is normal. They think lashing out is normal. They think that shutting down, that's normal. That's how shutting down is how some of us, that's how we that's really just how we cope. I'm not going to deal with this. Solid, you're a very good friend of mine. How do I cope? I go to work, right? I go to work for 60, 70 hours. If I go to work, everything is fine. I don't have to deal with none of this, right? But that's
But okay, do you think therapy has become a trend? Because okay, and the reason why I'm just saying that is because Sunny says in Japan therapy is looked down upon, and I understand that. I do know in some cultures therapy. I mean, even in black households, you say you're in therapy, and they're like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" Or, "Dude, seriously,
right.
that's a rich white person thing, whatever." But um, um, do you think therapy has become a trend where? What am I trying to say?
Do you think that people are now weaponizing therapy as a reason to still remain toxic while under the guise of being healed? Yes.
Yes, that
Yes,
that
absolutely.
that. that
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely. Because you will have somebody who is actively in therapy that will talk circles around you and you will still be left feeling confused because they have not, and that's part of avoidant attachment style. They leave you in limbo. They leave you wondering. Now, with and see, emotional immaturity comes in different shapes and forms. Some people are emotionally immature in the sense that they can't even sense that they've hurt somebody or they don't care. They have not said, you know what? And maybe that goes to the heart of empathy, which cannot be taught. But yeah, people are I don't I hate to say that therapy is a trend because if you are really if you're dedicated to doing the work to become a better person, therapy is a beautiful thing. I love my therapist. Okay. I have a black therapist. She and I, we go at it because my therapist doesn't tell me what I want to hear. She will tell me, you were wrong, right? And you know that you were the problem in that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. She's like, no, 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 no. This is what you pay me for. I'm going to tell you.
okay. So um, we've had our differences, and one thing that I do like about our relationship is that we can tell each other about ourselves and move on.
Absolutely.
You know, so do you have people who will listen to a therapist before they listen to a friend who is around you constantly, or you talk to them a lot or whatever, but the therapist will tell them the exact same thing that you told them last night, but they get pissed off at you, but the therapist, you know.
I think that with a therapist, having a therapist, going to a therapist means that you have you have somebody who is not biased. This person doesn't know you. This person doesn't have a dog in the fight. So they are duty bound to tell you the truth. And you have some therapists that they're just going to take the money and let you sit there and lie to them. Like, okay, you know what, you want to pay me so you can lie to me, go right ahead. But there are other therapists who I have immense respect for that will tell you, listen, you're not getting anywhere with me, perhaps you need to find someone who better suits your needs. When you're speaking to someone, a friend, a relative, you have to have that that little margin that they may judge you, and that's why it comes off that way. Oh, I could tell my cousin, listen, you ain't worth a damn. You know that, right? You need to stop doing this, and this.
Okay, but don't you think that therapists are human. They are not God. So don't you think that there's some judgment in there too, that they may try to hide it, but at the same time, I mean, as soon as you leave their office, they're like, well, damn, that guy he's kind of fucked up. I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah, but see that it's I don't know what it is. It's probably just easier to talk to a stranger.
So
I don't know why. I don't know
Sonny
why.
said, my entire Japanese family needs therapy. So I'm sorry, Sonny. I'm sorry.
Sonny, help is available. I promise.
So Sonny, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So um so okay, so what Sonny said, and we're talking about these emotionally immature parents. Do you think um um do you think that families benefit from family therapy? Do you think that it benefits you to you are at your point where one day you're at Sunday dinner and your father says something to you that is dismissive, and he's been dismissing you for the past 40 years, 30 years, whatever, and finally you just go off and the whole table just gets quiet, and then you all decide, well, we all gonna go in therapy. Okay, so everybody's sitting there and you're like, I'm tired of you comparing me to my brother. I'm tired of you comparing me to my sister because this, and this, and this. Do you think that that helps, or do you think that it can turn, which I know at the beginning it probably does, it will turn into a blame game fight? Well, you understand? Like, do you think that
I
the
do.
brother ever sees that, or sees that, and he knows that your parents have been comparing you to him, and he's just never saying anything?
Yeah, it does come as a blame game, and then it turns into deflecting. I think that families could definitely benefit from therapy, but see, the danger with therapy is the truth. The truth. And I think that that is what people fear, the truth more than anything else, because the truth is never pretty. You know, I'm gonna just say this: if you have small children, remove them for about 30 seconds. Uh, the truth is like sex. Neither one of them are interesting unless there's a little pain involved. Okay? Now, parents hate to hear the truth from their children. There is nobody that will break your heart more than your own child. No
That's
one.
true.
No
You're
one.
right.
Because I can tell y'all right now, I have made my mother cry many, 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 many a times because I told her the truth.
I did not make my mother cry many times, but I made my mother angry many times. But um what did I just see that? Okay, Caleb says the truth will set you free. I mean, do you think that's true, that the truth will set you free? Or does it depend upon the situation you're in? Because the truth can also come back and slap you in the face.
The truth don't set you free in a court of law, but okay. Uh, the truth sets you free of your own conscience. That's what it sets you free from.
Okay. All
It
right.
doesn't set you
Okay.
free from
Okay. I am
consequences.
glad that you brought that up, because I was listening to a podcast the other day when I was out and about, and someone was talking about forgiveness, and they said, you know, she's tired of hearing people say that if you don't forgive people, um, it'll hurt you more than it'll hurt them. And she said, I disagree with that. And I'm saying out loud in the car, being the only one in the car, I'm saying, you got that right. Because people who I don't forgive, I don't think about it. It doesn't bother me. I
No.
am someone, and I have said it before, I can hold a grudge. I have grudges that I have held for years. And people say, well,
Okay.
if you hold a grudge, I'm over here. You're pointing the wrong way.
Well, the way my camera looks, you're over here. But
you know,
okay, she's right.
but and people say, well, if you hold that grudge, it's hurting no one. But you know what? It doesn't. It doesn't. If I don't forgive you, it doesn't bother me. And I don't understand why people seem to think that, you know, like they say, the truth will set you free, whatever, depending upon the the situation. But if I don't forgive you, or if I don't apologize, and we were talking about this the other day, if I don't apologize to you, I don't feel, if it's something that I don't feel that I need to apologize for, I'm not bothered by it. I literally can just turn around and walk away and not think about you again.
Well,
So does that make me an unempathetic person?
no, that just makes you somebody that, listen, solid. I'm sorry, you and I are both water signs. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a Pisces, I'm a Cancer. So, everybody know that with water signs, we can hold a grudge. Now, I will say this: I used to I used to feel like I have to forgive this person because that means I'm still angry with them. No, that's not what that means. I don't have to forgive you because forgiveness means that I am letting it go. There are certain things that I'm like, you know what? I can't forgive you for that. Your intention does not erase your impact. And guess what? If you intended to hurt me and you did, I don't forgive you. That doesn't mean that I have to speak ill of you. That doesn't mean that I'm still angry with you. That just means that you're no longer allowed in my space. You're no longer allowed in my company.
So when you tell a parent that they're no longer around your in your space because of how they treated you growing up, um, some people are, again, you have those people who are like, but that's family. You only get one mother. You only get one father. But at the same time, you have to keep your mental stability. I am not going to be emotionally impacted, your word impacted, because they're my parents. They're my sister. They're my brother. If you are not mentally and emotionally, affecting me in a positive way, I need to take you, set you outside my door, close the door, and move on.
I agree. And you know what? That is something that keeps people in an emotional destructive loop of, well, that's family, so I still have to. No, you don't. No one is no one is owed your presence, your forgiveness. No one is owed that, especially if they have knowingly done you harm. And emotionally immature parents, they don't like to stand in what they did to their children. And I'm not talking about they yelled at you or they wouldn't give you an ice cream cone. No, I'm talking about parents that were mentally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, sexually abusive. Give you guys a great example. Very, very good friend of mine. Her stepfather molested her. He molested her. She told her mother. Her mother stayed married to this man. And after she told her mother that this man molested her, he started being verbally abusive. He would still flash her around the house. He would talk down to her. You ain't never going to amount to nothing. All because she told. Now, fast forward, he passes away. I told her straight like that. I said, I'm not. She was like, she asked me, Dred, will you come to support me at my stepfather's funeral? My mother wants me there. I said, I am sorry, but I cannot come to that man's funeral. Not even in support of you, because her stepfather tried me. He drove me home one night and he tried me, and I said, it'll be the last time. You better move. Now,
why would she go to the funeral?
Because her younger brother and sister, that's their father, and her mother said, I want you to be here for your siblings. And
no, I see. She could have been there for her own children, and I would have stayed at home because you, as my mother, were not there for me when I needed help, and I called out and I needed help. I'm sorry, I have to take. No.
And I said, you know what? I said, you are my friend. You're like my sister. I love you to pieces, but I will not go to that man's funeral at all. I said, his twin brother molested someone else in our neighborhood. I'm not going. I said, I'm really upset that you're going. I said, listen, when you come from the funeral, let me buy you something to eat. I'll be there. I said, but I am not going there. And the fact that she still talks to her mother today, still allows her mother around her children, I said, you have a very forgiving spirit because your mother did not protect you.
But is that forgiving, or is it the fact that she is still, holding on to some type of, I want my mother to love me, to acknowledge me? You understand what I'm saying? You know, it's more of an emotional thing. I know my mother, did this, but maybe if I still, you know, go visit her once a week or whatever, maybe, just maybe,
Her mom
I don't
got her
know.
an excellent job, that they both work at. She has a great career and everything else. And I said, and I never said this to her, but does your mother think that atones for staying with the man that molested you, that talked down to you, that, after he couldn't get his hands on you anymore, he verbally abused you, he emotionally abused you, like, and she's an excellent mom. I'm godmother to all four of her children. But I wonder, did that is does that make her emotionally stronger than the rest of us? Because solid, I don't think that I would have been able to forgive my mother.
Oh, I know that I know
She
that
said,
there
"Oh,
is
I
no
know I
way
would."
that I would have been able to forgive my mother. There's absolutely no way, you know. But then again, you get to a point in life where you just say, I'm not looking for your approval. When you're a child, you look for approval of your parents, you look for approval of your teachers, you look for approval of your friends.
Right.
But at some point, you get to the point, or at least I got to the point where it's like, you know what, fuck y'all. I'm gonna live my life the way I'm gonna live my life. And if you don't like the way I'm living my life, don't come around me. And I have told people that. Well, I don't like the fact that, every time we go here, there, then you're doing this. Don't come. Don't come. You have a choice. And one thing that I always remember, and I tend to say this to people, is if you all remember Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer,
Yes.
and she said, there are no victims in this classroom. And I tend to say that, to other people. You're not a victim. I'm not making you come and live my life. I'm not making you do anything. You have a choice. So if you don't like what I'm doing, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't come around me, because guess what? There are people who I don't like what you're doing. I don't like you. I don't come around you. I'm not around you, and it doesn't bother me. I have been in spaces with people who I have literally said to them, you don't exist to me. And I can stand here and be in a group of 5 people, and that person could stand there, and they can, if I'm talking and they will say something to me, I literally ignore them. They don't exist to me. I have perfected that. And people have said, wow, that's cold. I told you, you don't exist. Why are you still talking to me? Why are you still trying to talk to me? Because if you tell me that I don't exist, I'm not going to come in your space and try to have a conversation with you, because I'm going to look like a damn fool. So why are you still talking? Why are you still trying to have this conversation with me? And I'm talking about, these are people who have literally have tried for years, and it's like, I don't see you. They don't exist to me. Do I feel bad about it? No, because I told you, I made the choice to walk away from you. I don't want you in my life. I don't want to be in yours. Goodbye. And
That's
I'm okay. I am fine.
But see, some people would say that that's cold. I see it as you being able to articulate how you feel and don't feel about this person. Period. Point blank. See, I can't stand being around fake people. If you don't like me, that's not my business. The only I now know that for whatever reason you and I don't vibe, I don't have to go out of my way to speak to you. I can be cordial with you. Hello. And sit the hell down and go talk to somebody else, or, have some finger foods if they're available. But I don't have to talk to you, nor do you have to speak to me. Period. That's it. And again, that's see, emotional immaturity can come, like I said, it comes in so many different forms. Somebody, oh well, you can't speak. I don't like you. You don't like me. Why am I speaking to you? Hello. That's it. Yeah, I acknowledged your presence, and you're lucky I did that, because I could be quite ignorant. Go away. It's true.
And that's the thing, because I have been told by my parents, when my parents were still with us, um you know, sometimes your delivery can be really cold, or
I've been told that.
maybe, maybe you should, my dad used to say, because my dad was just a very humble person. He one of the nicest people that I've ever known, and very, very humble. And he was, he would say, sometimes you need to tone it down. Sometimes you just come out and say, and I would say, Daddy, I can't. I said, I've toned it down for this person, but then they don't get it.
She
And
said,
he's like,
I
well,
can't.
yeah, I know. And I'm saying, but and he would understand what I'm saying, because he would see me talk to this person or these people, and I'm saying, well, Dread, I don't think I'm going to come, because that's really not my thing or whatever. And Dread keeps coming back. Well, you should do this. You should do this. And it's like, it's like after 5 or 6 times, it's like, Dread, I said I'm not coming.
Right.
And then my father would look at me, and he's like shaking his head, and I'm like, I try to be nice, but she was not listening to me. So for some people, you have to go scorched earth for them to get it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you're the bad guy. You are the one who, oh my God, I can't believe that Solid said that. And, she's so rude, whatever. But to me, you're being rude to be so damn pushy.
I agree.
So, I mean,
no, I'm not gonna lie to you. Solid, if you knew 20-year-old Dread, I was a force to be reckoned with. What y'all see now is healing Dread, not healed Dread. Okay. But I have learned to be tactful, because I don't want to be emotionally damaging to someone, or mentally damaging, or even spiritually damaging. I used to say, well, if you don't like me, then fuck you too. No. I get that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You don't have to drink me. But I can also be tactful about it. However, and this is the unhealed part of Dread, you decide to be disrespectful, like, well, I don't fucking like you because of so and so. Okay, so what? Who gonna check me, boo? So,
but Dread, don't you think that it's disrespectful to continue to be pushy with someone when they've already told you?
Yeah, not disrespectful. I think
I mean, to me, it is, because.
Let me let that breathe a minute.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna tell a story. Yeah, in fact, I told you this thing the other day. Okay, all right. So I can forget what show was on, but no, actually, I think I was on Discord last week when I was talking about this. But I'm gonna tell y'all a story about mashed potatoes. Okay, so I love mashed potatoes. I absolutely cannot stand mashed potatoes and gravy. I do not like it at all. My mother, fantastic cook, wonderful cook. She would make, when she made mashed potatoes, whatever, she would never put gravy on my mashed potatoes. It was like my sister, my father, they had gravy on their mashed potatoes. I just had my mashed potatoes. I like butter on my mashed potatoes. Okay. So my husband, when we go places, and he knows the type of foods that I like and what I don't like. And you have those people who go, but you haven't tasted mine. But you haven't tasted mine. But you haven't tasted mine. So we go someplace, and it's a family member, and they, they're fixing the plates and everything. And I personally, when I've had people over for dinner, I don't fix anybody's plate. You fix your own, because I don't know what you like. I'm not putting something on your plate that you don't like. Okay. So This particular person puts gravy, she's putting the gravy on mashed potatoes. And I tell her before she plates my food, I do not like gravy on my mashed potatoes. Oh, but you haven't tasted mine. I have the best gravy. Oh, I don't, thank you, but I don't care for, you know, gravy on my mashed potatoes. My husband's looking at me and he sees where this is going. And this is a family thing. This is a group thing, not my family, his family. Okay. And he sees where this is going. So she gives me my plate. There's gravy on my mashed potatoes. I look at it and my husband takes my plate. He goes to sit down and she looks and she goes, "Oh, I was going to make him another plate." I said, "No, I'm giving him mine because I don't like gravy on my mashed potatoes." The look that she gave me was like, "How dare you not eat my mashed potatoes and gravy?" And then she literally said, "Here, fix your own plate." I was like, "Okay, thank you." And I fixed my own plate and I sat there next, I sat down and I ate my mashed potatoes without gravy. This is where I'm saying pushy to be disrespectful. If someone is telling you that they don't like it, then why are you doing it? So what I have started doing literally is for certain things, I'll say, "Oh, I'm allergic." Then all of a sudden, it's okay. It's okay for me to be allergic and you not deal with it. But now, if I say I don't like it, you're still going to try to push it on me. I think that's disrespectful.
That's okay. You know what? That's fair. Because you know what? Solid, I ain't going to hold you. I make an excellent. I do. I make an excellent meatloaf with gravy, mushrooms, onions, and I make homemade mashed potatoes. However, if you say, "Dread, I don't like mashed potatoes with gravy." Now, am I to understand that you like mashed potatoes?
I love mashed potatoes.
You love mashed potatoes. You just don't like the gravy on it.
I don't like the gravy on it.
Okay, so you know what that means? That means that when I fix your plate, I'm going to put the mashed potatoes in one spot, okay? I'm going to put the meatloaf in another spot, and I'm going to give you a little side of gravy in case you want to put the gravy on your meatloaf because you don't like mashed potatoes and gravy.
Well, okay, put it like this. Okay, let me be clear. I don't like gravy.
Okay, so you know what? We don't put gravy on yours.
I mean, I'm just saying. So, it's like you have those pushy people, and then this is where I say the immature adult part comes in because if someone is telling you one adult to another that they don't like it, then why am I going to push it? Why am I going to push it on you? Just like we were talking on Discord the other night about everybody cannot make macaroni and cheese. They cannot. Okay, and my mac and cheese is hit or miss. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it comes out great, and sometimes it comes out, whatever. But everybody cannot make macaroni and cheese, and you have those people who are pushing it on you, who are just pushing it on you, and it's like and then you wake up one day and you're like, "Oh, well, how come Dress, I've asked her, 4 times if she wants to come to one of my dinners or one of my whatever, and she keeps saying no." Maybe I should get a clue, buy a vowel, and understand that she's not coming because I'm so damn pushy.
And you know what? Something as small as that, ladies and gentlemen, right? We've heard you had to eat whatever I had to eat whatever my mother put in front of me. We all remember that. Anybody that was born at a certain time, I'm not aging anybody here, but we all heard that. Oh, I had to eat whatever my mother put in front of me. And I'm one of those people. My mother, whatever my mother put in front of me, I better eat it or else I was going to sit there. And you know what? I was that kid that would sit there like, not eating that. You're going to eat it. No, I'll sit here all night. I'll fall asleep at this table. But understand that that is why some people don't understand boundaries, because parents who are emotionally immature and emotionally unaware don't understand boundaries. If your kid doesn't like carrots, don't give them carrots. If they don't like Brussels sprouts, don't give them Brussels sprouts. Give them another vegetable.
But you know what, though? I can honestly say that growing up, I was that kid too because my mother used to make liver.
Ugh.
And it was one of the, she's like, you liver has iron and you need iron, whatever. And to this, I said, I'm not. And I said, when I have a child, I am not going to make him eat things that he doesn't want to eat. And, you know, my son had an aversion to anything green. So I would have to, so I wouldn't make him eat it, but I would kind of trick him, whatever. And now, he loves spinach, he loves broccoli, he loves peas, whatever. Because I realized that, as you get older, you start to try things that you turn your nose up when you're little. But no, I'm not going to make my son sit there for 2 hours at the dinner table. Everything's cold for him to eat it. I'm not doing that. My mother was one of those people. You're going to sit there until you eat it. I don't want it. Then I heard you know, you have starving children in China. You have starving children in Africa. What the hell does that have to do with me eating this? Because if I eat it, they're still starving. So,
and I didn't know how to articulate. I used to say, "Mom, this is hot." Not real. I didn't know how to say it was spicy. I can't have spicy foods. It bothers me. My mother, no, it's not hot. You can eat it. I'm like, Mom, it's hot. I didn't know how to say it's spicy.
You don't like spicy food?
It actually, if it's too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I was with you when you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can
love
aggravate.
spicy. Yeah.
It can aggravate my asthma. It can aggravate my asthma, but in later time, now it can cause me to go into anaphylactic shock. Habaneros, ghost peppers, things like that is not. It's not only just tasting wise, it's dangerous. But I didn't like, even when I was a kid, I didn't like spicy food. My mother could be heavy-handed with the peppers, and I'm like, I don't want this. No, you're gonna eat this. No, Mom, it's hot. And I would sit there just.
Can I tell you that?
I'm not going to burn my mouth,
My son will put red pepper flakes on everything. Literally, when I go to Costco, I get a huge thing of red pepper flakes because my son will put red pepper flakes on a hot dog. He will cover it. He will put it on mashed potatoes. He puts red pepper flakes on everything. He loves spicy. I love spicy, but I cannot go that spicy. When I go to the store, I always buy chips that are spicy, extra spicy, whatever. That's for him. But I'm not going to make someone, eat like this or do this. So let me ask this. Do you think that parents who don't appreciate their children should not have had them? Like, do you think that if you have parents who, and I don't even say that they favor one child, they treat all their children like crap. Why do you have them? Why do you have children? You got 9 kids and you're chaining them to the bed and you're not feeding them. You're putting them in cages and things like that. Why, if you cannot deal with your responsibilities, why have the responsibility?
Because it's due to societal pressures. Society says that a woman, we're trying to get away from that, but it's a very slow battle that a woman, a woman's value is measured in whether or not she can procreate or have life from her.
Okay, but you can procreate the life, but no one's going to see the life if you keep them chained up in the
I
house.
I understand that, and you know what? I find it to be it's a ironic evil. I'll give I have a friend that's suffering from infertility. Um, we're both turning 40. We both want children, and we know someone that has not one, not two, but six children. She got high with the last four. She was smoking those dip cigarettes. If you don't know what dippers are, those are the cigarettes that are dipped in formaldehyde and people smoke them.
Mm-hmm.
Four of her children were born addicted. She got pregnant with no problem. It's an ironic evil. She should have never been a mother, and I'll say that freely. She should have never been a mother. She got six kids. You got women suffering from infertility that can't have one. It's an ironic evil sent from the universe. Who knows? They shouldn't have had children. Gabriel Hernandez, the little boy who, Nix Marie from New York. There's hundreds of children that should have never been born to those parents. But here we are. And emotionally immature parents, they destroy their children. They are emotionally immature parents should get the therapy bill in the mail because they do so much damage.
Do you think emotionally immature parents? Okay, I know we're almost at the end of the show, but you just said this, so this made me think about this. Do you think emotionally immature parents create serial killers?
No. Well, I mean, they can.
Do you think that serial? Do you think that
associate? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
A sociopath cannot empathize. So that goes to the heart of psychopath and sociopathy. A sociopath, they're narcissistic. They have delusions of grandeur. They don't know how to empathize. Their conscience they have no conscience. It takes a vacation. That is sociopaths are created. So yes, an emotionally unavailable, immature, or abusive parent can most definitely create a serial killer.
Okay, so what about those serial killers who, they go off on their killing spree, then they come home to their perfect family who has no idea what mommy or daddy is doing when they leave the house every night at 9? Do you think that those children that they have, who they go to their little league games and ballet recitals and school plays, that those kids are going to not turn out right in some way?
No, because honestly, that's part of the sociopathic mind. Those parents that are, hey, I'm going for a jog, and he goes and rapes women every night. He's a sociopath, but he shows up in a way that he wants to show up. That's part of his persona. It is psychologically damaging when the children and the wife find out who they are. It is damaging to them because they feel a sense of blame. How did I not know? He loved me. He never was cross with me. He never harmed me. So it does do something to them psychologically and emotionally. But what in the way that he showed up for them made them able to love and show empathy and so on and so forth.
Okay.
This is all psychology 101, folks, and I still go back to my psychology books because I love this mind stuff. I do, because I'm crazy.
Well, you guys, we are up. My turn to talk, is an hour show. We were supposed to be on Podbean, but can't seem to get that integrated into YouTube, but I will figure it out. So on Friendly Differences, please, pop in on Friendly Differences on Saturday. And I'm so excited. Dread Empath will soon have a show. You have just muted yourself. Oh, anyway, so she is coming back. But Dread Impact will be having a show on GCPR, where they say, uh, well, thank you, Ava. Thank you. Uh, GCPR, Ghost Club Productions Radio, where every voice matters. And again, I will be here on Saturday for Friendly Differences, and where Friendly Differences is different from My Turn to Talk. My Turn to Talk, we, talk about issues like this. Friendly Differences, it can get a little hairy because we go into politics and, sometimes we got screaming matches and what have you. But I want to put out there that I am looking for, I want to do a show on Gen Z and boomers. Um, I am looking for a Gen Z that is part of the LGBTQ. I am looking for a Gen Z that is African American, Black, Gen Z that is white. I am looking for a Gen Z that is trans. And I am a boomer, and I want to do a show with them because I have some questions, and just want to compare the two generations. But other than that, guys, thank you for coming. I see there are people here, and I know I share this show all over. Please, please, please come into the chat. Ava, Anthony, Tracina, Caleb, Sunny, everyone who contributed to the conversation today. Thank you so very, very much. Let me see, did I miss anybody? Yes, black and white television. As a boomer, I have to say I am lucky that I have, I've seen a lot. Not as much as my parents. My parents were the silent generation, but I want to have a conversation with Gen Z. So anyway, until next time. Again, thank you very much, and peace.